Welcome to Politically Connected, a podcast on everything politics and governance in Kenya and Africa. Here we unpack the complexities of people, policy, and power. I'm your host, Diana Ngao, and today we have the National Organizing Secretary of UASU, the University Academic Staff Union.
We are not going to have strikes in the university until 2030.
We sign this and we say they are going to pay. There's no goodwill.
If they are not going to pay that money,
it seems like such a complex problem because
from tomorrow all those letters become null and void.
Now imagine if we got a government that fully invested in our education sector and a higher education sector.
Before the end of December, we will have our money in our account.
As you may know, today was the break of a 49-day strike of the lecturers. And today's episode is really unpacking the industrial action we've seen in the last 49 days, and also go back a little bit and just unpack this issue in terms of what exactly was the principle of what they are striking about, how did the government respond, and what is the future of higher education in Kenya. So karibu sana Mr. Onesmus Maluki.
Asante.
Karibu sana. So our podcast today, as we were planning for this podcast, we just learned that you were part of a room negotiating with the Ministry of Education, and then the strike was called off. So maybe you can tell us, what exactly did you agree upon?
Thank you, Gao, for the invite. It's great to be here. This is my first time to be here, but I hope I'll be coming again and again. Well, what we agreed today is that we reached an agreement with the government that they're going to pay the 7.9 billion shillings that is owed to the university workers. Emanating from the 2017-2021 national CBA. So this is, as you correctly said, today is our 49th day. Tomorrow is our 50th day that we are going back. But the reason why it has taken this long, and we are not very proud of this, is because we wasted for the first 4 weeks trying to agree how much does the government owe the university lecturers. Because first, they said it was 600 million, but we said it was 7 billion. Yeah. And therefore, for us to agree that it was 7.9 and not 600 million, it took us over close to 5 weeks until we came to agree. We constituted a technical team. Made up of SRC, Minister of Education, and Treasury, the University Vice Chancellor's Committee, and the unions. And we asked for the payrolls from the universities. We sat in Machakos University for a few days, burnt our midnight oil. But we came to agreement that the government owes us 7.9 billion. Yeah. So after that, we have been engaging the government on how they are going to pay. Our demand was we needed the 7.9 being paid in full and at once. But again, you see, negotiations is about give and take. Yeah. That is what we demanded. But of course, now the government, brought up their side of the story. Yeah. First, they offered to pay in 3 installments in 3 financial years, and our members refused. Yes, our members refused. Okay. Actually, the original offer was that they were to pay, the less amount the coming financial year, and then the next financial years they could pay more. So members refused to that, and we went for other, consultations. We went before the parliament. We were also invited by the Deputy President. Actually, it is the Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki, who managed to give us the offer of 2. He said, well, instead of 3, I can commit that the government is going to pay in 2 phases. And then, we still did not agree to that. So yesterday, we appeared before the Parliamentary Committee on Education under Honorable Meli. When we went there, there was the CS for Treasury, Buddy came, the CS for Education, Migos was there, and their PS, and we tried to talk together. The parliamentarian listened to both sides, and they tried to persuade us to relax our stand for the sake of the country, for the sake of our students, for the sake of the parents, and also for the sake of the lecturers. So we agreed that yes, we can take the 50% now and take the 50% in our next financial year, which is actually 1st July next year. That is in about 7 months. It's from that we went back to have a meeting. We agreed that yes, we consulted our members. We had a meeting with them, yesterday night to explain to them the offer that we're getting from the government. And, we reasoned together with the members and we agreed, wow, we have been on strike for 49. If the government has committed that is going to pay, because we saw the commitment from the government, and therefore we agreed that we can sign a return to work formula. So this morning we woke up to the CS Minister of Education with the Vice Chancellors. We agreed to sign a watertight return to work formula. And once we signed that, then we called the CS and we called off the strike.
So what is this watertight return to work formula?
Well, what I mean by a watertight return to work formula, Gao, is that first, it protects the jobs of our members. Okay. The principle, the primary role of every trade union is to protect jobs. Yes. And therefore, every time we go on an industrial action, there is always the risk and the danger of losing jobs. As we reached, the 48th day, several of our members had show cause letters, others have been suspended, others have been dismissed from their work. We have one university that had issued 500 suspension letters to our members. Yes, one university. And so when we are coming to negotiate a return to work formula, apart from ensuring that we shall get what we have negotiated for, we must also agree that any disciplinary action emitting from the strike is deemed null and void. So all those suspension letters are cancelled, they're null and void. And as we come out of the strike, we come out strong. We are protecting all the jobs of our members. And we ensure that, the document that we sign is legally binding, because we deposit, in a court of law as a legal document together because it forms part of the CBA. Now, so when we mean that watertight is that document that is properly guns at the interest of our members.
Of our members.
Yes.
That is good to hear, that at least even on top of a promise of payment or a plan to get the money owed to the lecturers, that indeed their jobs are safe, even after this strike. But we were talking just before we started the episode, is that this is not the first strike, and it seems that it's like there are some cycles after almost every end of our CBA, is that there seems to be some industrial action. What is your opinion as to why we have to get to the point of striking to get the government to honor? What is your opinion?
Thank you,
why?
What I need to let you know is that among all the public workers in the country, universities workers, in my view, are neglected, they are discriminated, and they are not considered as part of the public as sector workers. The reason why I say this is because the other public sector workers, they usually get their, increased, their salaries reviewed. They will negotiate for CBAs that are implemented without going on strike. But you realize that for many years, if the university workers should get any salary increment through the CBA, they must go on strike. History has taught us that for us to get our employer coming to the table to negotiate a CBA, we must go on strike. History has taught us that for that employer to agree to sign that CBA that he has already negotiated, we must go on strike. History has taught us that for our employer to implement that which you have negotiated, we must go on strike. In fact, every time we are negotiating a CBA, we should either go for 3 or 4 strikes before a CBA is negotiated, assigned, registered, and implemented fully. We'll need about 3, if not 4 strikes to implement one cycle of a CBA. So we are used to strikes we are used to strikes. The CBA that we are just discussing, we just called off the strike today. The reason why we were on this strike gown is that we had 3 issues. All the 3 issues were touching on a failure by the government to honor the CBAs. First was the CBA of 2017-2021. This CBA is historical. It was negotiated in the year 2019. Investing in higher education, because part of it is that the higher education sector, that's the universities, are poorly funded, and brings this issue of financial issues. But again, as I was saying, when we were the 2021 was one of the unhonored CBA that made us to go on this strike. The second reason was the 2021-2025. Now, this strike, we went on strike, this CBA made us go on strike twice last year, so that we could force the employer to negotiate for the 2021-2025. So when we agreed on this, on the total cost of that CBA, which was 9.7 billion, because it was only for 2 years, that was 22-23 and 23-24 and 22-25. The reason being that the first years we are freezed. The government freezed any salary increase because of the COVID. So the 2 years we are freezed. So instead of being a 4-year CBA, it was not a 2 years. So that was 9.7. So when we agreed, the government paid half of that money. The other half, we agreed that it will be paid 1st of July this year, and the other 2.7 billion will be paid next year in 1st of July. So when 1st of July came, they never paid the money. August came, no money. September came, no money. October came, and we said, we are used to you guys. Before we get it, we must go on the streets. So that was the second thing. On the same CBA, we had agreed that negotiations for the current CBA, which is 25-29, should have commenced in January this year. So you see, even that one, they also did not honor. So we have 3 CBAs, the 2017-2021, they have not honored. The 2021-2025, they have not honored. The 25-29 that was supposed to begin this year has not begun. They have not honored. So all this comes to the point that every time we engage our employer on collective bargaining agreement, there's no goodwill from the government to keep their bargain, to keep their word, and do that which they are promised. So our employer will come to the table, we engage with them. Immediately we leave that room, everything is forgotten.
And now I'm just wondering, because it seems that there's, what you're saying, like there's no goodwill. We sign this and we say they're going to pay. There's no goodwill. What are the reasons as to why they don't honor this? Is it that they're saying Kenya is broke? Is it, and yet we are seeing also their empowerment programs of 200 plus million almost every other week. I'm trying to understand, what did the government give their reason as to why they are not unable to pay?
Of course, when it comes to the funding,
Yeah.
the government will always say there's no money.
Yes.
As an economist, I want to tell you that money is meant to be scarce, and that is one of the characteristics of money. Yes. Money must be scarce. If it is not scarce, it is not money. And therefore, the language is there's no money, we don't have money, there's there are the procedures, the budget has to be approved, we are budgeting for it next year, next month, come for it. So that is always the story. Yeah. But again, we feel that some vice chancellors of some of the universities are also not honest with us. Some of these have been our colleagues, but they are also not honest with the government sometimes to advise the government accordingly. And therefore, all these, we feel that, the government is not always up to honoring what they have said. The government this time round, when we met the government, officials,
in the last few days,
they have committed that they are going to change.
Yeah.
They have committed that, they are going to ensure that they honor their word.
Yeah.
They have ensured that they want to ensure that there will be no strike again.
Yeah.
We are waiting to see that.
I actually had Mr. Sosion on a show that you were on together saying that, this will be the last strike. The government has indeed said that they do owe you 7.9 billion, and indeed, this will be the last strike. But do you honestly think that is the case?
Unless a miracle is happening, and I will want to give the government, the current regime, the benefit of doubt. But for sure, I want to tell you for free. Yeah. Today we decide that by the end of December, we will have the 3.9 billion in our account.
Okay. By the end of December?
Yes.
Okay.
That was the agreement today.
Today.
If that happens, then that is going to be good.
Okay.
Now, that might happen because we are talking about next month. Yeah. But now we also agreed that 1st of July, they're also going to pay us the rest of the money. I am yet to see. Okay. I still don't believe this government will give us that. But I want to give them the benefit of doubt. Of course, part of the reasons why we had to soften our stand is when we met the top officials of the government. As I said, the deputy president came in and he assured us that he will ensure that the money will be paid. He assured us that he is committing on behalf of the government that will be paid. And we thought that the DP was honest. We could see that there's that level of commitment. Yeah. Then yesterday when we went to the parliament, parliament is the arm that allocates money. It budgets for this money, and they assured us that they will ensure that the money will be budgeted for that. We saw a goodwill. We saw people who are sincere, and therefore we agreed to set our ground. Otherwise, if it was only for our vice chancellors, we would not have taken the two phases. We were sure that we wanted the 7.9 paid at once because we were sure when we just agree with the vice chancellors that money will not come. But just because we got assurance from the deputy president himself, and we also got assurance from the parliament, the CS for finance was there to say that he will make sure that the money will be there. We said yes, so maybe let them give them some benefit of doubt. Of course, the government has come strongly to tell us that they will make sure that we'll not go on strike again. They have come up to say that they are committed, and they work to ensure that which we have agreed, they will commit. We have also said to them, just to make this clear, we have also told them if for sure they are going to meet their part, we are not going to have strikes in the university until 2030.
Okay, until 2030.
The reason why we are saying 2030 is because after we are done with the 2025, 2029, in 2030 we'll be pushing to begin discussing for the CBA 2029, 2034. And we know it cannot happen until we go on strike. So the next strike is on 2030.
Now, I like how you've broken that down to us. And I want us to put like almost a human face to this strike, and also the failure of honoring these collective bargaining agreements. I mean, if lecturers are going months without pay, what does that look like? Because I mean, these lecturers are part of our societies. Some of these lecturers even have their own children in these universities. What is that cost like? How is it that when you are saying that you're used to striking, meaning that the fairness of your labor is not being met?
One, I want to say that the university professors in Kenya are poorly paid.
Yeah.
Their working condition is very poor. Some of us don't have offices. We work from our cars. We don't have desktop to do research. We work from our laptops at home. There's no good environment to do research, which we're expected to do, because as an academician, our work is not only to teach. In fact, teaching is the lesser work. Yeah. Our job description is threefold. Mm-hmm. That is to teach, to do research, and community work. Yeah. And therefore, the working environment is not good. It is made worse when even our salary is delayed or doesn't come. As we speak right now, the other day, we had a university that for over 3 years, they paid 50% of the salary.
50%?
Yes,
For 3
of
years.
Your net, yes.
Of your net salary?
Of your net salary. Just because that university could not pay our members a full salary. We get to other universities that pay 70%, and most of the universities, they pay what we call net. They do not pay gross salary, meaning if you salary, you have bank loans that are supposed to be paid, you have SACCO deductions and all those
those statutory deductions.
So they will just deduct in theory, but they will not remit. That has made our members to be blacklisted in some financial institutions. They have made some of our members, their property being auctioned because the loan is not being paid. And it has not been very well. It has made some of our members, go on depression. Others got to very, serious health conditions because of this. And I want to say that we look to a point whereby the university will fully fund the university sector, provide a good environment for research, and at least so that we can be motivated to do our work. As we speak right now, the university dons in Kenya are demoralized.
Yeah.
They work under unfavorable conditions. And, the motivation to wake up and go to meet your students, go do research, study, it's not there at all.
Yeah, and just to think of how across the world, like Kenyans are known to be such prolific workers, and especially Kenyans who have studied through our Kenyan system, they are known, like they're actually headhunted, meaning that our lecturers in our public institutions are doing a great job, even with half of their issues being met. Now imagine if we got a government that fully invested in our education sector and a higher education sector, what we'd be able to see out of what is being churned out of our universities. But I want to now give a wider angle in terms of now the education crisis or crises that have happened so far. They've changed the funding model. Students are lecturers are demoralized, students as well. What is the way forward?
I think, in my opinion, I think the government needs to be serious on higher education. You have seen, even when the government, when the parliament is allocating money for education sector, much of it goes to the basic education. They will allocate money to recruit teachers, teach every year. You never hear them allocating money to recruit lecturers. So the same number of, the number of the students is increasing, but the number of the lecturers remains the same. Yet they're recruiting more teachers for primary and secondary. In a rational environment, you will expect that as the increased recruitment of teachers in the basic education, they will also do the same to the universities, because then the same students are also going to graduate and come to us in the universities. And therefore, what that also means is that we are overworked in the universities. A class that used to normally you could teach a class of 50, now we teach a crusade of 1,000 students, a crusade of 500 students, and we expect them to give exams and to mark. If you have 3 classes of 1,000 students, how do you mark 300 scripts in maybe 2 weeks? It is impossible. It's not possible. And therefore, as you said, I think the government needs to be more serious with higher education. Yes. It will need to fund the education. Yes. Whether the new model is working magic here is neither here or there, but there is a serious conversation the government needs to pick on now to improve their funding on higher education, so that now, the lecturers will do their work in a favorable environment. Yeah. They will feel, well appreciated. Yeah. Because again, if you do not pay a professor very well, where do you want that professor to go? Academic is good, but it is also disadvantages us in many ways. One, when you're a professor, who will employ you? If the university does not employ you to teach, who is going to employ a professor? To do what? So the more you study, the more you disadvantage yourself, because you only have one employer. That is the university where you are going to impact knowledge. Now, if your employer does not pay you, you have got no option. You see, and therefore, instead of you coming to work nicely, you begin to work. Your car is breaking down on the road. You do not have fuel. You have to run with the jerry can, or you have to talk to your colleague to give you a lift to class. First, you are going to get to that class when you are tired. Yes. You are even late for the class.
1,000 students.
Yes, you have this 1,000 crusade. To some of them are seated outside. You saw the other day.
Yeah.
A student was taking a picture just beside a lecturer's car, and he says, "Hi, comrade, see the car of our lecturer. Is this what you want to become?" Well, I'm told disciplinary actions were taken of that, but see the mockery they make out of us. Because apart from teaching, we should be the role models of our students.
I mean, lecturers and professors are like the brightest minds. When you are trying to unlock a national problem, they look for you guys to create a technical committee.
Yes.
That is when they remember that we have the brightest minds in our public universities.
You see, just getting there, some of us happen to study abroad.
Yeah.
Specifically in Europe.
Yeah.
You realize that, for example, when you go to study, a class is supposed to begin at 1.
Yeah.
So around noon, the lecturer is already in class. Oh. And he's just seated there fixing his machines. 10 minutes to 1, everyone is seated in class. If you come in 2 minutes to 1, you are very late. Everyone will look at you and say, "Where was this guy?"
Yes.
So exactly at 1, the lecture will begin, and you will teach very comfortably. He will, after that, he will share knowledge. You will go walk to the cafeteria with the lecturer. You just sit over the cup of coffee. The guys relax. You're just discussing. But now, in our case, the guy comes very late. He had all the issues on the road. He's finishing the class. He's thinking about the jam, rushing all the way. So even that free time to consult with the students is also not there. I hope, but and we look forward to when the government is going to come in and try to ensure that these are working conditions in the universities are well taken care of. But again, as I say, let me say that at least we have begun to see signs from the government that at least is doable. A few things, like I gave an example of one university that was paying half salary. That is now, we have improved from that. We had other challenges, and the government is trying to do that. We hope that it is going to, to fund more.
Yeah, I'm just curious, because I think, was it 2016 when the government scrapped the capitation grants to university? I can't remember when. But now that there's more like a policy push for public universities to also generate their own income. Is that possible?
Well, that's possible. We have many other universities across the world that do that.
Yeah.
You know, what makes the university stand out is research.
Yeah.
And when we go to ranking of the universities, much of that is through research.
Yeah.
So through research, yes, universities can generate money.
Yeah.
That is where we need to come with new ideas on how
Yes,
to move
the
the economy.
innovation.
That is where people need to come up with things that are, that are going to move,
Forward.
to move the country forward. But again, as we do that, we need to have relaxed mind. Yeah. We need to have the right environment that is going to nurture research.
Yeah, it's. I'm just wondering. Like, it seems like such a complex problem, because what you're solving today was something for 2017, 2021, and also part of what was 2021 to 2025. Yes. I'm just wondering, if we look back in history, in your years. First of all, how many years have you been in the union?
Well, I have been in the union for now, this is the 15th year.
15th year?
Yes.
Yes. So in your years in the union, and maybe even just maybe historical stories that you had in terms of higher education, is there, could you point to a specific administration that you would say the conditions may not have been 100%, but we could see the goodwill?
Yes, I think during the Kibaki regime,
yeah,
that is the time that at least the lecturers managed to get some good, increase, salary increase. That was at least, made a big difference in the pay slip of the lecturers. We have had, the other regimes coming, but we think at least that was a regime that did well for us.
Yeah.
Well, probably because Kibaki was probably one of us,
yes,
one or the other. But again, it has been a struggle, but we feel that, we might be heading in the right direction.
Yeah. And now that, apart from even the salaries, and now we have, because in our preliminary research, we saw, like, in independence, we just had one university, which was Nairobi University. And then they kept on growing with every new administration. But there was a jump in Kibaki's administration where it moved from 6 all the way to 22 universities. And we've just been seeing, but now I'm wondering if there's already financial crisis in these universities. Because in your experience as a lecturer and also being part of the union, how would you advise government to perhaps support this, like, let's say maybe, is it Pwani or Moi University that is almost at the risk of closure, to help salvage our public universities from closing?
I think that was Moi. Moi was almost closing.
Yeah.
They were laying off workers, but that is done. Yeah. We have been there. We engaged Parliament of Moi University. We engaged the University Council of Moi. Moi University is now on the right track. It was about to collapse, but we have managed to get Moi University back on its track. Not completely, but now things are better, and it's promising that it's going to get back. Now, coming to the many universities, you see this is the law. There is the new constitution, then the University Act that allows or that provides for establishment of a public university in every county. But right now, we have several counties without a public university. In fact, apart from that, the population is growing. And therefore, you realize that, just like I was saying, the facilities that we have in the universities may not contain the students' numbers that we have. That is why we talk about crusades instead of classes. So due to the increased number of students, the population is growing. The number of students that are leaving high school to join university is also increasing. And by the fact that by law we need to have a university in every county, the universities need to keep on increasing.
Yeah.
Right now we had Kaparanate University coming up. There's Mamangina University that was also came up the other day. We have the Open University. There's also the other one in Nyamira that is also coming out. So more and more universities are coming, and that is okay because the number of the students is growing. What we need to do is to have a good budget for these universities, so that then there are also the issue of the ability of the parents, so that if your students your child is not taken to very far place, you feel that if your son or daughter goes to study next door, then the cost is going to be lower than if she has to cross over the counties. So it is okay for the universities to continue growing. And I think that the sudden increase in the university was because of the University Act, that there need to be a university in every county. But again, as I say, that is okay. But what is key is the government needs to come up with a structured way
approach,
on how to ensure that the same are being funded.
Yeah. Do you think, from a layman's perspective, because I finished university in 2013.
The other day. Okay.
Yes. But I see that when you're giving me this history and being a bit more politically conscious, there seems to be, over the years, almost like a systemic defunding of higher education. It's like a neglect, perhaps, per se. And when you look back and when we look at some of the great people of our country, they are products of the Kenyan education system, the Kenyan higher education system. When you look at the Speaker of the National Assembly, he was in Nairobi University. When you look at many other big figures who would identify, most of them have gone through the public. So we could see from independence with Nairobi University and all these other universities that came up through the period, that we were able to churn out some of the greatest minds of our time. However, it seems that now, I'm saying it seems, and I want to get your opinion on that there seems to be a systemic defunding of higher education, also because that when you're more exposed and you're more learned, and you start to see, most of the universities have also been said that these are cradles of disruption. These are where sasa maandamanos zina happen. Do you think that is the reason why they are systemically defunding? Are they systemically defunding higher education and neglecting this? Is it because of the kind of action or the kind of awareness or civic consciousness students or lecturers get once they get in those places?
Thank you for that. I will want to look at it from a different side. One, I think we, as lecturers, it's not that it's the time that we get aware of our rights politically and we want to just go on strike. But again, you realize that maybe the university, there may be a lot of political mileage in funding the universities. Besides the way our universities are run, the vice chancellors, who are the CEOs in the public universities, they are political appointees. See? And when they are political appointees, it means they must please their employer, otherwise they lose their job. And therefore, if they are given less money, they will not want to push for more money. So if I give you a job and you know that I give you even if I give you less money, you may not want to make noise. And therefore, because almost all the vice chancellors are political appointees, when they go for interviews under the public service, it's not that they pick number one. I know most of them, they were number 10. Others were number 6 on that list. Others were number 5. They will not pick number 1. And because of that, the information that they give to the government may not be very accurate. Number 2, they lack the power to push the government to do the right things. Many times when we go to negotiate, the vice chancellors will come and tell us, please say this for us. You know us, we can't talk. You know us, we can't do this. And because these are sectors that no one may make a lot of noise, even when they are less funded, perhaps that explains why they keep on, cutting down on the funding, because there will be no noise after all. So they keep on, the university are struggling, and the CEOs will just be there. And they keep on just saying it's okay, because they must keep their jobs. But again, looking down the history, some years ago, as you said, university education was really fun.
Yeah.
I am sure during your time, your life in campus was maybe better than it is today. Yeah. I happen to be, to belong to the 844 system, which also believe. But the other guys who studied the other system, who went to Form 6, we did not find, we had that they used to have boom in the university. So when you went, they were given boom. I understood food was for free in the mess, everything was for free, and life was very good by then. But again, time changes and the economy keeps on, changing. And therefore you realize that life then was not as much as it is now.
Yeah.
Back then, it was more of the students striking. The strikes by the students
were more
much more
and they were
frequent.
more civically inclined.
Exactly.
Political rights more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it is now the lecturers
that are the ones who are striking.
that are the ones who are striking. Now, because again, I think because of, they feel that their rights are not, like they don't get what they deserve. Like I just told you, that before we negotiate a CBA, we must go on strike not once, not twice, but at least 3 or 4 times for us to get a CBA concluded. And an example, the CBA that we are concluding of 2021-2025, last year we had 2 strikes. This year we are concluding a strike based on the same CBA. Na bado hatujamalizana. We still have 2.7 billion left for next year.
So this 7.9
yes.
near until 20...
That is 20, for 2021-2025 CBA. There is 2.7 billion that is supposed to be paid next year. So these are CBA that we have had 3 strikes. And yet, we are not yet done with the strike. So we are not, we are not yet done with the full implementation of that CBA.
Yeah.
So perhaps, although I hope this will not happen, perhaps by the time we fully conclude this CBA, we'll have had at least 4 strong strikes. So you see, so if we don't go on strike, nothing moves.
I'm just wondering that if indeed, I mean, if indeed the government does keep its word for what they're going to pay you in December, and then again in the next financial year, and then again you strike, that makes the union really, like politically, is it politically charged? But do politicians, or rather depending on, because there's the government and then there's also politics, right? Do they sometimes try and let me just say influence the union on a political sector?
Maybe they do, but I am the national organizing secretary of UASU.
Yeah.
But I'm also Onesmus Motio. Yeah. I have my political preference, so I may have my preferred candidate. Yeah. I may or may not belong to a certain political party, and that is okay. That's my democratic right. Yeah. But when I come to serve as the national organizing secretary for universities academic staff union, at that point, I am not, or it is not right, or I'm not supposed to be political in any way. Yeah. And when we come as, if the other unions, I don't want to speak for them, but as for UASU, we have always maintained a neutral position when it comes to politics. Yeah. And therefore, as a good union, you work with the government of the day. Yeah. So whichever government comes, you work with that government for the benefit of your members. Whether you voted for that government or not, you work with that government. And as much as possible as a union, we try to be professional. So we don't want to, to be affiliated to a certain politician or try to show our, support for a political leaning. So we want to be neutral politically. Again, because, our members are cut across. We have members who are in opposition, we have members who are in the government, and therefore, for you to be a leader for these people, then you need to be neutral. And if you have a certain political whatever, you swallow them. So that now you can at least achieve something for your members. Because when you are leading the union, the key thing is that the interest of your members becomes your interest. And what is on a priority to you is ensuring that the interest of your members is properly taken care of. And if you do that, then you don't need to be, affiliated or to be so close to any political side. You maintain your neutrality and work with the government of the day.
I actually watched an interview of you sometime in September and Spice FM, and you were passionately saying that it's either they pay us all the money or the world will end.
Yes.
But I'm guessing that was just to raise the stakes to ensure that your needs are met. And we could see the passion in what you were saying. So I'm wondering, is that what is the role of now the national organizing secretary of our union?
Well, in our union, it might depend with the different unions. But in our union, the University's Academic Staff Union, part of my key duties as the National Organizing Secretary, I'm in charge of the publicity of the union. I am the one to bring out the image of the union. I'll be in charge of the media. I'm the one organizing the media, goes to the media and brings the media to ensure that the Fourth Estate, also like now we were on this strike, we needed the Fourth Estate to partner with us to ensure that they educate the public what we are doing and why we on the street and all this. So that is a part of that. Of course, I'm also in charge of the general mobilization of the union. So when we have issues to do with organizing things, I am the one on the ground. Sorry. I'm also in charge of organizing trainings and conferences for the union, general mobilization of members. Yes, that is my work. So like now we've been on strike. I have been in charge of that strike. That was my work. The other officials, the NSG would just sleep, just say, where are we? They would just give official statements. But that was under my docket. I was in charge of this strike, and I'm happy that we began strong.
Yes.
We have come out strong.
And you finished strong.
Yes, and I think I am proud of that.
Yes, actually, one key moment for me that made me aware of the strike is seeing the videos of lecturers in Maseno University decide to, when they put down their tools and they're like, we're going to now play music and dance outside the lecture halls. And that was, to me, was such a unique way of saying that we are on strike. I don't know whether it had been seen before.
Thank you. Now we have the young guys, the JCs, joining us in the profession as dons in the university. And they are very creative, and we like it that. Again, when we strike, we don't want to be boring, that we just come sit there the whole day. So the new guys came up, they became very innovative.
Yes, very innovative.
So we could just come and begin to dance. We could begin to wear, funny clothes.
Yes,
we could begin to dance in a funny way.
Yes.
That spiced the strike. It brought some,
I could say it brought awareness, because now I was just like, oh, the lecturers are on strike.
Yes,
it was really good. But now we're at the end of the podcast, and I wanted you to maybe give us a parting shot in terms of, now that there's a truce that has been brokered and a deal that has been brokered between the government and the union to ensure that there's a return to work formula. Maybe what would be your parting shot to the government and even to your members?
Oh, thank you. I think for now, first, I will want to thank the government for committing to to pay our 7.9. we've had, although there was a delay in this, towards the end of, the period, we've got very good cooperation. The government officials came in. We got very good cooperation from our mother ministry, that is the Minister of Education. The CS Migosi was there coming personally to meet us. The PS in Nyangala, she was a little bit uncooperative, but towards the end of the circle, she was very cooperative. Yeah. Buddy came to Parliament, and also he kept on, calling us to find out how we are. The Deputy President, who managed to give us the final deal. I want to appreciate the government, for having offered to pay our money. They have committed, and we can see some goodwill. They came with goodwill, and we are sure that they are going to pay our money. And therefore, I will want to appreciate the government for that. But again, we have said, if they are not going to pay that money, we have just suspended the strike. Yeah. It will just take a day for us to call the strike again. Yeah. I want to hope that the government is going to keep their part of the bargain, that they will keep their word, that before the end of December, we will have our money in our account. Yeah. And next year, by 1st of July, that money will be in our account. If the government will keep their word, we have said that the next strike that we are going to call, it will be in 2030. For our members, I will want to say thank you so much, members. You for a good fight. We did not get everything that we wanted, but we have achieved a lot for you. And thank you so much for your support, supporting the union. For the chapter officials, you organized the strike very well in different universities. We say solidarity. So as we resume tomorrow, I want even to speak to our students. We feel you. We feel the pain. And therefore, we have agreed that we're going to ensure that the lost time is going to be recovered. That was well captured in the return to work formula. So there's no worry. We are coming back strongly. We will teach you, and we will teach you well. You are not going to lose anything, and therefore, there's going to be harmony in the university. That is not, the strike is now over. We are back to the class beginning from tomorrow. To the vice chancellors that had threatened our members, yes, we've already agreed that those show cause letters, dismissal letters, and the salaries that we held, that is the thing of the past. Mm-hmm. From tomorrow, all those letters become null and void. The withheld salaries must be paid. And I want to talk to the government. Please, do not let the lecturers come back on the streets. Keep your part of or your word. Be faithful to what you have agreed, and we want harmony in the universities until 2030.
And there you have it. The deadline is 2030 if the agreements that were brokered today are met. Now, we know our lecturers are one of the brightest minds of the nation, who are even nurturing even brighter minds in the universities. So, indeed, we implore the government to honor our lecturers and honor our higher education sector by providing the agreements on time, because livelihoods depends on this. So if this episode informed you, if it empowered you, if it got you thinking about union and industrial action that we've seen that works, please subscribe, like, and share this video everywhere. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.